Welcome to RPL Racing in 2024 in the month of March now. It is time for Tier 2's penultimate round in Portugal. I spoke about it being the month of March. Well, St. Patrick's Day is just 16 days away. There might be some luck then, but right now, who's going to get lucky tonight in Portimao in RPL's return here? We raced here in FE recently. We raced here in F2 recently. But we have not raced here in Tier 2 or Tier 1 in this game cycle, and we're scheduled to return in Tier 1 later in the season, while as Tier 2, we're returning tonight. Welcome along, folks. Commentator Ryan Searles here, and I think for the first time in RPL history, excluding F2 as far as I'm aware, because F2 could probably change things based on this stat, I'm having the champion of RPL Tier 2 in the same season join me for commentary tonight. Eoin McMoran, welcome along.
Hello! I'm excited to see what happens to my rivals now that I am disappeared from the Williams. Obviously, I wasn't doing anything in the Williams in the last few races, but nothing much will probably change, to be fair. It'll probably be Bonky and Gecko fighting it out. But yes, I'm just happy to not be racing on Friday nights anymore. I can relax and watch it instead.
It'll feel like Season 7 Tier 2 with you, with laying back and watching everything else unfold now. So that's a nice feeling for you, I would say. Quick thought on winning the championship and just, you know, what you're going to see now in the commentary box from the drivers you raced with.
Sorry, I'm just trying to sort out some stuff.
I said, thoughts on winning the championship quickly before we get going, and what you're going to see your competitors do or what it's going to look like now that you're not there.
Well, I just think it's going to be the same as it was when I was in the Willie. Like I said earlier, just Bonky and Gecko probably. The new guy, Joe Wilson, don't know how quick he is. He could be rapid. But we will see. Winning the championship, very pleased. And just relieved, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sorry, I'm just stressing quite a lot because I'm just trying to figure stuff out. Because we're going to have to run short qualifying because there's only 50. There were 60 drivers. But there's 15.
George just taunting us.
George?
Yeah, he was in for a second on his Xbox account. Hit Gog hit spectator. Nice one. Yeah, George hit the spectator button and then unhit it and then left. So that's why you saw 16 for a moment, folks. But yeah. You spoke about a lot of things there. Let's talk about some of the headlines into tonight. You'll probably have more than I do. I'll have to look at the contracts chat to be sure on that. However, some of the stuff I've written down that can be made aware of is that the Tier 2 championship in the drivers table has been won, but not the constructors. The constructors can be won tonight, and there's 4 teams still eligible for that. Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren. McLaren with the long shot. Ferrari 30 points back. Mercedes 16 points back from Red Bull, who hadn't won a race for the longest time this season and have now been on a really good streak. 4 poles, 3 wins. And in terms of the podiums, I mean, you have 2 teams who have 8, you have 2 teams who have 7 in terms of your teams eligible. Not only is that the case as well, but we have Beatnik contract terminated. He has got a job, and now he cannot race on weekends, so he'll probably be doing reserve duties for his current team. He was full-time Tier 2. It's unfortunate for him. Hunted, Season 12, Tier 2, team principal now instead. That is what's changed for him. I'm not sure if he fully announced that, but that's the reason as to why next season he was going to be Mercedes originally. Now he's at the academy once again. Joe Wilson, RPL return. It's his first race tonight since Season 8 RPL. That is a very long time for him. Season 8 Tier 2 RPL, by the way, to be clear. Hunted has just signed a Formula Endurance contract. JTK loaned to Alpine for Tier 2 tonight. Minico, Tier 1 contract extension. We've got a contract for Joe Wilson full-time now at Mercedes in his return. Valk has been demoted to Aston Martin for the final 2 races for failing objectives. That's why Joe's in the Merc now. Contract for Bino for Season 11 Tier 2 Alfa Romeo. Same thing with Tadpole now in McLaren because of the fact that Beatnik is not in McLaren anymore full-time. Let's see what else we got. I think that's really about it. And obviously announced in contracts as well. Oh, no, we got more. Dom is racing Season 12, Tier 2 for Haas. Let's see what else we got. I think that may be it. Nope. Contract for J&T for Ferrari next season. Contract for Invade at Alfa Romeo next season. Ardell at Ferrari next season. Hunted obviously made Academy assistant for Alpine on Sunday, which is where the announcement comes from, where he'll become Tier 1 team principal halfway through the game cycle, or either next season, whatever, next game. It's one of those two, I believe. And I think that's... No, we have one more. Zoman's Haas contract for next season. And Red Fire Tiger AlphaTauri for next season full-time. The only other thing I was going to mention, lastly, is that Eoin, you'll be here in the commentary box for the final 2 races, not just tonight, but also Vegas, the finale there next week. In the commentary box the rest of the season, that was announcing driver contracts, something done differently.
This has never been done before. I'm so important, you see.
Fun facts shows it too. I'm so biased.
And it's the first time I've commentated while on my computer.
Oh, okay.
So,
I like this.
It's also very advantageous because I've got the live timings up at the moment. So I could actually probably let me see if I could do some magic here. I could probably have the live timings up on the screen at the same time as the F1 race, so I could tell you everyone's let me see here if I can find it. Am I able to do that? I don't know if I'm able to do this. Let me see. Yeah, so
that
I
would
get,
be helpful,
I get lots of data.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you not aware and not in the Discord server, Eoin did share that last week as well in the Discord, and now you see as well, which you'll probably have to update. You have a sheet to where it all gets transferred there. Well, the funny thing is that you have it listed as only... out of the 11 races, one of the teams having poles and only one pole. So, I mean, with all the live timing stuff, you just gotta make sure it all looks good. It does. I love it, actually. Just besides that one malfunction in the constructor standings, which I know you'll fix. It was a little rushed to get it out. It was just funny. What?
What was the issue? Sorry,
the issue was where you had in the Gecko's invalidated turn 1 already. You had in the constructor standings Red Bull only having one pole, and that was the only team with pole. Oh, Ardella spun at turn 1, and that's the first victim of that curb that is troubling. We're now going to invade for a hot... No, we're not even going to invade for a hot lap because 3 guys have already ran into issues in qualifying already. That'll be a big talking point. But yeah, and I was just going to say, I really like the live timings, and you know what? I know others do too. They think it's really cool. I love it, and it will definitely help for commentary for tonight's event. Short qualifying, by the way, as you said.
Yes, indeed. The only issue is with this live timing, if I chuck it up, it will ruin the resolution of my game, so it will look a bit weird. But hopefully that's...
I really hope it doesn't affect anything with you being host, but yeah.
Should be okay.
It's the only concern I have. What?
It should be okay. It should be okay. I can see people everyone's sec times. I can tell you what assists everyone's running as well.
Oh my god, this is amazing. Well, Invade, welcome to chat. Just a quick talk on constructor standings before we get to Sector 3 and start doing hot laps, excuse me. Red Bull, 16 points over Mercedes. Let me provide the arguments quickly before J&T finishes a lap on why each team can win it. Red Bull is the only team with no penalty points this season and have had a 36 race streak going of points. Well, Mercedes had that going for a long time too, and they've been, at least for their sake, well, because of Eoin mainly at the start, very consistent. Very consistent. Ferrari, 3rd place as well. They were the first team to have a double podium, and they've continued that, and they've had a strong run with a strong lineup tonight, probably one of the strongest lineups of those teams eligible still for the championship. And McLaren, the long shots, Tadpole and Hunted. Well, guess what? Those are the only champions in tonight's race, and McLaren just had a double podium last week, so I think momentum is strong in terms of their favor. Let's go on board with a different driver. How about HSR Gecko coming through Sector 3 now? This is a twisty, fun little circuit. How about the left-hander right here? RPL Tire and Iron has joined. We got the right-hander now. which is the last braking zone for the drivers, and then flat out at Gulp Corner. I believe it's Gulp Corner, the last corner, unless that's turn 8 I'm thinking of. But, yep, last corner. It's Gulp and Samsung Corner I'm aware of. To the line, DRS applied. Gecko, compared to his teammate, will be fastest. Gecko 2/10 up. I'm going to quickly take a bite of my food and pour me some barbecue, but while that is being said, oh, and then I go to a different driver. JTK, Gecko, 2 first-time winners recently. Do we think we're going to go 3 for 3 tonight?
No.
No. No.
Well, according to my data that I currently have acquired, Gecko is quite rampant. He is quite a speedy boy.
Yeah, he is.
That will have to be looked into. We have 16 drivers now, it's telling me. Let me just check. We do, don't we? Yeah, we do.
Titan and Alpine.
Oh,
Draco
Titan
didn't show up.
joined Alpine. Yes. So,
and it's good to see him back, by the way, in some capacity.
In the pit lane,
for Tier 2. He had to start last season in Singapore, I believe. 3 laps, 3 mistakes, and Vade says, well, this is a tricky circuit for track limits. Owen, I mean, Tadpole's on a lap currently, and he's about to complete the lap, but still, even in this final section, you still can invalidate anywhere.
Absolutely, my friend. Usually it's the exits of all the corners that I struggle with. They're very you've so much confidence on the throttle at the top. He's coming through now at that corner there, and you end up just drifting slightly wide and costing yourself a lot of time and invalidation. So you need to be on the ball. As Minatoki goes P10.
Very neat right there from him. Let's see who else is starting a lap or either about to complete one. Valk is starting a lap, I believe. JTK is starting a lap. How about our new, most recent winner on loan for Alpine tonight? I'll give it to you halfway through, or at least probably in Sector 2, because I want to take a bite of food. Turn 1, easy place to invalidate. Lots of curbing. Lots of different lines you can take, just lots of different flowing sections right here through 2 to 3. When battling side by side or when racing, you have to keep aware of, because track limits at turn 4 right here will be a nail biter. And now as DRS is applied, brake late or brake early for turn 5, Owen?
Yeah, so I've got a really cursed resolution right now, but yes, here he comes up the hill again after going down the hill into the hairpin. You're going to have a lot of faith in downforce your car here as he does a small lift there on the brakes, and then make sure you do not lose the rear end on the traction zone, up and down like a roller coaster, and then back up the hill again. Pick your braking point, don't lock it up if you've got ABS off, and then flat through here should be easy enough. And then again on the brakes, another difficult braking zone. Moving while braking is very common on this circuit, so you need to be very careful. Into the penultimate corner, Titan is retired because he has a quality hand to serve, of course.
Low late.
And here he comes. JTK, what's he gonna do?
8th. 8th for him. Just behind the car he won with last week. Centrix is 4th. Joe Wilson in his return 5th. Ardell was P5 on debut. In Zandvoort, P6 right now, just 1 spot worse. Let's see, Wavy's on a lap for Aston Martin. Let's see what the Tier 2 driver can do. Aston have had 7 DNFs this season, and they have been absolutely terrible. 8th place in the Constructors compared to last season when they were getting close to race wins and constant podiums. And Owen, you've got a podium in this car, but now as he tries to put on DRS into turn 5, he has a little glitch with that. 22-3, this corner. Lots of lines you can take, lots of chances to invalidate, and lots of chances to race side by side as you get to 6 here, 7, and now turn 8. If you spin right here, you will likely be disqualified if you're toward that inside wall because the track will think you're going backwards. And now this very flowy section, turn 9, 10, and 11. So many different lines you can take. Inside line, high in, low out, low in, high out. Now final sector he comes with just a little bit to go. He's got a little bit of traffic, but Wavy Knife will get a time on our board as long as he keeps it valid.
He's currently done a 30.0 in the second sector at Portland Delta. I think in the information I've accessed is telling me. And it's just got a chunky slipstream from the Mercedes, and it's P9.
Merc Academy still going to be on the up, says Minico. And right now for Wavy, that's not a bad qualifying spot at all. He's got two other drivers near him that are really close on pace. And also, I believe that was someone else crossing the line. But we've now got Tadpole starting a lap, the Season 7 RPL Tier 2 champion. Here he comes with ERS draining. 206 in a turn 1 with DRS applied. Turn 1, easy place to invalidate. Turn 2 looks fine. You can easily jump over those curbs. And now turn 3, where the curbing is on the inside, you want to be on part of that curbing to have a good line and a good entrance and exit for turn 4. And now he runs to turn 5 to try to escape any troubles. 22-1. So this first sector in comparison to Wavy, as expected, in a better car, is better. But now you gotta maximize 6, 7, 8, and the rest of the lap. That's a car getting out of the way. And now turn 8 here, which is just really tricky. So many uphill sections, so many downhill sections, and so many sections to get it wrong. You had a little wiggle there, Eoin. But now as he gets to sector 3, what do you want to do here?
You're in a tricky braking zone. I'll tell you right now, if Tadpole is running ABS, let me just check. Tadpole is running 0 assists. So this is all... You need to be very careful on these very tricky braking zones to not lock up the fronts or even the rears and go spinning and parading into the grandstands. As he's going to come across the line, he's going to be aiming for a top 5 here. To P9.
Man, that's a little disappointing compared to where Hunted, his teammate, is.
That was very disappointing. Let me see what the sector times for him were. Let me see. I wish I had 2 monitors for this. It'd be a lot easier. This Tadpole in the first sector, pretty 22-1, 30.2, and then 25.5. Pretty disappointing, actually. And he's got 25% ERS left. And his race number is 70. There you go. And his top speed is 332 kilometers per hour.
Interesting. You got a lot of information over there. J&T third fastest, Centrix second. We may have missed out on those, but none of those guys are out on a lap right now. The guy who is Mintoki, who was debuting in the Aston Martin last week, now in the Williams for this weekend's race in Portimao. Turn 10, 11 area. We got Valk, who just went 8th for Aston Martin. That's good from her because at the start of the season, that's the car she started in and struggled in. Purple for Mintoki, 2.5 tenths up, and he's just only got a couple more corners, Eoin. What do you want to do here in the final 2 corners? What line do you want to take? What's going to help him?
Me personally, probably not the optimal line, but I like to go for a nice tight line on the inside to get the traction down as early as possible. To get the best exits I can. And Mintoki is going to be aiming for top 10 here. P7, that's a good result.
That is a really good result.
Mintoki.
That is much needed for
Williams.
Williams.
On no assists as well. So interesting.
They're trying to battle for what is P5 in the constructors with Alpine. So yeah, that's a really good result. Alpine, who have had good results in day races only. Those are the only times their points finishes have come from this season. And it's another day race while we go to a night race next week. So yeah, we'll go to Gecko when he starts his lap. I just want to go on board with Valk because although it looks like she's on an in-lap, I want to talk about this final corner. Almost all the time, if not all the time, flat out. But Eoin, before we start watching Gecko's lap, and we will go on board with it now, battery or no battery in that final corner? I know it gets very tricky to decide.
I just send it, to be honest. I usually would use all battery in the last few corners. You know, you need it to go into the straights, and then for the corners, I would turn off my ERS, probably in the hairpin. You don't need it as much in the hairpin, you know, it's slow speed corner. And we'll see what Gecko does, actually. I wonder, I don't know if I'm able to see that.
2 tenths up.
He is. That is a first sector.
That is frightening for the competition.
I'm in the first sector. It's not telling me. Yeah, it's on the data. So I'll stand by.
Well, turn 8 he went through. It looked okay. 9, 10, 11 area now is all his. And he's going to take a very sweeping line here. And he's going to be right on the edge of the white line. And he's still up by almost now 4 tenths. Gecko, probably the most experienced driver in this grid. in top machinery around the circuit, considering he's the most recent winner around here, coming in Formula Endurance, and it happened with Ferrari. That race he spun and won. He spun twice from the lead, and then this time he's going to try to extend pole position, and he does so, and he is almost a second clear of the pack.
Jesus. Well, I'm glad I left
my
when
word.
I did.
My word.
If you had this pace all season, it would have been a much closer Tier 2 championship, I'll tell you that anyway. But,
Yeah, and his consistency, too, is another thing. He needs to not DNF as much. He's got a lot of DNFs in FE and Tier 2, and that's why he was no longer in the FE championship either.
But obviously, we'll see whether his legality in the Tier 2 season will be allowed.
Well, he's someone who, just like Zatsi now, has showed up to every Tier 2 race, and Zatsi's up to Tier 1 now, so let's see. Centrix, I want you to go on board with him. This will be the last hot lap you cover, I think, before we get to any pole laps or anyone crossing the line officially. Sector 1 looked okay, but Centrix has had 2 front row. No, he didn't. Never mind. He's backed off. Let's go on board with someone else who's starting a lap then. Joe Wilson will go on board with then. I'll have you cover it, Eoin. But Centrix had 2 front rows, but no poles just yet. It's going to be a little bit trickier to get one tonight, and Joe Wilson is trying to get one now, 2.5 tenths up.
Yeah, it's almost 3 tenths up on his lap. He's going to need to be if he wants to be in any of the top 3. 1.4 seconds off Gecko and 6 tenths off the lap time over JNT, the Ferrari. Coming through this lovely little sector. I don't know the corner names as the corner numbers as well as Ryan, so I'm just going to call them corners. Then up the hill again we go, flat out, balls to the wall. He's taken a very interesting line. I've not seen that line before. Being very wide on entrance, and then there is a Ferrari there in the way. It's going to hinder him hugely. JNT is going to get a penalty for that. That was absolutely disgraceful from JNT, in the way, completely disregarding the Mercedes of Joe Wilson. Here he comes across the line. Is he going to improve? I doubt he'll improve by much. If he does, only a 10th up for Ferrari costing daily. Disgusted.
I am back. I'm sorry. I had to go AFK because I had to throw out some food before we get into our final laps. I heard someone got blocked.
JNT did some disgusting blocking of Joe Wilson. Penalty will be in order. Let's see if Joe Wilson returns the favor.
Well, Hunted now, by the way, is up. Joe Wilson does not look like he's going to return the favor unless JNT's on the lap now.
He's giving a bit of dirty air into the hairpin. Oh, sneaky boy.
Just a little dirty air. He was very nice about it. We're going to try to go to pole laps now. Centrix, second. That's not good. We're just on board with him prior. Centrix wiggling, but a 10.5 up, trying to maintain the front row right now. HSR Gecko's headed to the pit lane because he thinks his pole position is secure, and I'd agree with that. Final couple corners for Centrix, diving to the inside and trying to find some more pace. Here he comes now to the curbs to try to maximize everything he can and try to extend that front row gap because pole position looks like it's out of reach. Battery drained, DRS applied, and now he improves by a 10th. Hunted comes across the line to at least get one final lap in, even though he invalidated the first one, so he's going to be on the back foot. But JNT tries to improve, and does he go front row? Yes, he does. It's a Ferrari 1-2. He's had pole positions in RPL before, though.
Sorry.
Not the first time. Centrix trying to improve, it looks like, on a second go. No, he's not. He's just getting out of the way of Hunted. Hunted trying to improve. And now Bonkers. 2 tenths up, trying to get the front row. Bonkers has had wins this season, but now he's only going to maintain the second row. It's going to be Hunted now, trying to maintain what he once had. Ardell went 5th.
On a blastering lap. Oh, no.
Check
Oh,
your flag for
JTK
most.
is up by 3 tenths of a second. This could be P8.
This is really good for Alpine. They need this. They're not back row of the grid like they were in real life, but Hunted, I want to see where he's improving before we switch to JTK. A 10.5. JTK, 3 tenths up. Won last week. Can he get top 10, top 5 this week? Top 8 in qualifying.
Pretty good.
Hunted, the Academy teammate, the next to cross the line and looks to be the last effective one in terms of improving places. Blue Goggy's 12th. Kippu is going to be 11th.
That's good.
Massive improvement from Kippu. Much needed. That's good for AlphaTauri for a good starting spot, but Hunted, who's had 8 poles before, will not get a 9th tonight. He is going to improve. In the first and second sector, it looked like, but not on the lap when it mattered most. HSR Gecko takes pole position tonight. trying to take over second place in the constructors drivers for himself. Second or first in the constructors, trying to keep their fight alive for Ferrari, who are 30 points back. And that is pole number 2 this season for him, with a Ferrari front row lockout.
Yeah, Mr. Hunter just ran out of DRS on the last sector of his lap. So he literally had nothing to fight with there, unfortunately. So yeah, the highest top speed recorded in that session was from Tadpole's McLaren of 332 kilometers per hour. The slowest was obviously Titan, but we'll take his out. And the live timing has disappeared. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. There we go. So it's 322 kilometers per hour is the Gecko and JNT in the Ferrari had the lowest top speed, but the quickest lap times, which is very interesting. Very interesting.
Maximizing
indeed.
the corners. Ferrari front row, Red Bull second row. Ardell then Hunted. Joe Wilson in his return is 7th. JTK is 8th for Alpine. Nice little showing for him. Wavy 9th for Aston. Mintoki rounds out the top 10. Some names outside this top 10 we need to focus on is Titan for Alpine, because he is reserving. Tadpole for McLaren. Also as well, Valk for Aston Martin. She was not really so great in that car at the beginning of the season, but Aston need points desperately. They're relying on her and Wavy tonight, and they're trying to, I believe, get above 8th in the constructors table, and they still probably can do just that. Yeah, they're 8th right now. That battle for 5th is Alpine, Williams, Alfa Romeo, Aston with a long shot, and AlphaTauri is, unless they just win a race, get a podium, they're keeping last in the constructors. So 33 laps ahead of the drivers tonight. I am not aware of any strategy whatsoever. I have nothing. I have nothing to tell you, but we'll figure it out as we go, because I think we'll figure out what the drivers end up doing. No rain expected for the event as far as I'm aware, but a Constructors' Championship can be won tonight. Oh, and before we get going, how important is it for Red Bull to maximize that lead, let alone McLaren stay in the race? Because right now, if the race ends based on what we have, McLaren are out of it. It's only a 3-way fight into Vegas.
So I was looking more into what was the question?
How important is it for Red Bull to stay in the lead, and how important is it for McLaren to gain up? Because they are 4th right now, and if the race ended, they'd be out of the Constructors' fight into Vegas.
Well, that would be absolutely devastating. The Constructors' Championship is actually relatively close, to be fair, between the 4 teams. So, yeah, McLaren, Hunted, and Tadpole need to put in a stellar performance. Obviously, Tadpole won a race earlier in the season. He's going to have to repeat it. Hunted asking a very valid question. Who raised up first? I'll just say you. But yes, so Hunted's going to have to, stop these disappointing results. Like he stopped them in the last few races. To be fair, a few podiums and such. Going to have to continue that, and Tadpole's going to have to get back to podium ways as well. Obviously, Red Bull and Donkey and Sintra, I personally see 2 very underperforming drivers this season. They've got to perform today when it matters, because Gecko and JNT are coming for the lead of the Constructors' Championship, and the race is going to get started very shortly.
Here come the 5 red lights, and RPL's return to Portimao in the penultimate round of the season. It's go. But not yet. It is now. Lights out, away we go. Both Ferraris who had the front row lockout get great starts. JNT, not as much though. Having it covered off as he almost went 4 wide, and JTK, ballsy, dive bomb there. Catches everyone out and now Invade's out. Invade is out. There was major contact. Virtual safety car.
I unfortunately could not see it. I was looking at too much information. And
I was just scattered. Now it's a full safety car.
There we go.
Full safety car. It's been upgraded. Here are the strategies. Invade is out from lap 1, and his weekend has been absolutely atrocious.
Interesting on the tires is that
I don't think anybody has had. Just sorry to cut out. I was just gonna say, I don't think anybody has had the weekend Invade has had in RPL in a long ass while. You had the first 3 laps he did in qualifying invalidated. Couldn't get a single lap in qualifying. Was either crashing or invalidating. Crashed out because of it. Didn't get a lap in. And then lap 1, turn 1, out. Go ahead.
So I was replying to Gecko asking me, was that a safety car glitch? And I said, no, there was a crash, so it's a valid safety car.
The reason he would expect a glitch from that, by the way, as Valk has left the session,
Try to get her back in.
is because, yeah, we can get her back in. I can get her during the safety car. I just want to see if anyone pits first. The reason why Gecko thought that probably is because you're spectator and you're hosting. So usually a driver would need a host. That's why there was a slight delayed start. But
Yes.
there was a crash because you could see clearly from JTK when he clonked the curb. It backed the field up, and then there was crashing. We did not see on stream behind that, but Invade clearly said he crashed out, and it caused a virtual safety car, and now it's been upgraded to a full safety car. 3 guys pit. I'm assuming it's all the guys who had damage. I'll now get Valk back in.
Have a look. So, Goggy has repaired his front wing. Tadpole just doing a strategic change. He pitted for the medium, so I suppose Tadpole's not going to try a medium to the end of the race, which is actually quite smart. If you're at the back anyway, you may as well go for it. And Taki is the other one in the pit lane. Let me see, he's gone to hards. Let me have a little look. Yeah, from front wing repairs as well. And almost spinning. Interesting.
I'm almost certain with that data, regardless of like looking at the people, I think you can see if they repair their front wing or not. I'm almost certain that's usually in that data.
Yeah.
So Titan has just described what happened from the back of the field. He is one of 2 runners on soft still. And Aston spun in front of us, and Invade had nowhere to go. I'm going to assume the Aston who spun was either Valk and Wavy, because they were really, I mean, they're both the Astons anyway, but they were the closest to JTK in that moment, and had to avoid JTK, and whatever happened to Invade has caused him to be out of the race. JNT's wondering if he hit Cintrix. Proximity arrow was not red, and he didn't feel anything, but just wanted to confirm because Cintrix has gone back a place. Let's look at the places gained and the places lost from that start. So Titan the big winner out of anybody. I can't believe I'm saying that. Titan a winner. But at least in an RPL race, but fair enough to him. I give him tons of credit. He did have to avoid a lot of trouble, and he also is in a car.
Wing damage, so he's fixed that.
Yep, that would make sense. He's in a car that gets really good starts, so tons of credit to him. 6 places, Valk 3 places. They're your big winners. Ardell, by the way, 2 for him. Again, like I said in Zenvort, he was P5 on debut, so making the most of it. P3 this time. Trying to get Canada's first Tier 2 podium of any driver, let alone Tier 1. With that said, big losers from the start. Wavy, 2 places lost. I'm going to assume he's the one who spun then. Mintoki, down 4. And Tadpole with the front wing damage for McLaren because they do not need this. Hunton's 5th right now, doing what he needs to for the team. But really, Tadpole should be in that top 8 area. Rather than where he's at right now. I know he was put back there due to qualifying. He couldn't really do much anyway with that being said. But McLaren, they're 57 points back in the constructors table. Oh, and they need a lot to go their way right now, and it needs to happen after the safety car is going to end soon.
It's absolutely horrible for the start for Tadpole, but I think he is on the right strategy here, going medium. And an interesting thing about my little database is that it shows when drivers have wing damage as the safety car seems to be coming in this lap. Is it because the lights are off? Or I don't know.
The lights are not off.
I'm blind.
Once Tadpole hits the final sector, we'll know.
Yes, so yeah, we can see.
Might be a late one.
If
Hold
you
on.
have any questions about anyone who have wing damage, let me know. And I can tell you if they have wing damage.
This might be a late one. Safety car speeding up. Hold on just 1 second. Tadpole has caught up, but
no, it's not good.
It won't, because Tadpole backed off at the last second from the pack to make it go another lap. Unless he did it on purpose or not, doesn't matter. That's what the case is. Sorry to cut in.
Tactical genius from Tadpole. Let his tires rest a little bit more, and let him catch up to the rest of the field.
And it makes sense as well from him, even though you might have people who are frustrated about that, thinking it might be a late one. it's smart from Tadpole because you don't want to get anyone caught up and going on the main straight and have some more safety car troubles like we had here, in fact, in Portimao. In Tier 1, the last time we raced here, we had an absolute mess of a safety car restart. 5, 6 wide with drivers, and it was in the wet to make matters worse. Ardell has left the session. I'll get him an invite.
Everyone keeps lagging out.
I will get him an invite because you don't have him through Xbox, I'm almost certain. Ardell, invite.
Maybe or Valkyrie didn't join back either. So what's going on there?
I don't know what that's about. Hopefully those guys get their lag issues fixed. The safety car restart will come in. Eoin, do you want to leave it to where it's at the section where it's the final corner where that detection point is that you can see on our map that is green? Or do you want to leave it to the main straight and get them going with as little DRS as possible? If I'm Ferrari here and I know I have the amount of straight line or the lack amount of straight line speed I do, I'd want to leave it late.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, the Ferrari in the qualifying session had the lowest top speed, so Gecko will probably, if he's intelligent, will leave it to the very end, but he knows that the car behind him is his teammate, and the car behind his teammate is Ardell, who's lagged up, so he can sort of go early and take an advantage, because then everyone else has to stay behind that AI car. And, well, here he comes, Ardell. I don't think he'll join back in time for the, Ardell's AI
That is unfortunate.
Ardell's AI is taking matters into his own hands and overtaking Gecko.
And green flag back in the air, but that might cause some issues. We'll find out. Gecko out and away. About to be 3 wide for just a split second there between Cintrix, Hunted, and Joe Wilson.
Ardell's
That's
back.
Ardell getting back in right in front of the pack. That is absolutely terrible for these guys. It's going to affect, and Valk's back in now too, but side-by-side racing continues between both Red Bulls, one for 3rd place, one for 7th. Titan's also in on the action as well. 10th place for him with Valk, who's going to be Academy teammates with him next season, but diving down the inside further and back is Kipu on Titan now. Kipu going for the dive. These two have raced in F2 before, so no surprise there, but Kipu keeps it clean and gets the place. Valk as well trying to join back. Has Blue Goggy and Tadpole pick her off. And now they had to tricky turn 8 where it can be easy to spin it on the track, and you saw a little wiggle from one of the Mercs.
Relatively calm restart. So obviously Ardell got, swarmed by multiple cars who just pushed him off because he thought he was going to be ghosted. He unghosted halfway through the bloody corner. And now he's back into P5. He needs to get back in a rhythm. And hopefully he can really one of those positions for his sake. Oh, Tadpole losing a slot. And Valkyrie, the wheels away for the last corner. Oh no!
That's a very tricky spot, and it's brilliant that they were able to keep it like that. Blue Goggy as well, also being passed by Titan, and we'll see if he allows that to happen. And the turn 1 he does. Bonkers as well on the back of Joe Wilson. Does he keep anything going his way by staying in line? Yes, he's still staying in line. Further and back, Tadpole's not, though. Tadpole's making a move on Blue Goggy, and he's almost getting tapped and trying to go by Titan, too. It's been an absolute terrible start for the Season 7 Tier 2 champion, and he's going to go down the inside, making a late dive. Valk, way too deep, and goes off, and has got a 5 second to spare.
What is
but
she doing?
goes off, re-enters, and comes back out alongside of Williams, and now side by side. Turn 7, turn 8. They remain side by side. Mintoki backs off, but Valk, that was absolutely catastrophic from her end, but lucky to not have it be worse.
What was she thinking? What an absolute bloom.
I think she broke way too late and tried to avoid hitting them, but couldn't go to the right, and instead, that's like Beatnik and Monza. I think she just got away with more trouble. Really, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Could have been disgusting.
Bonky is behind Joe Wilson while DRS gets enabled, and now he's making the move. The Red Bull straight line speed is absolutely going to help him and assist him to make this pass. Does he do it by turn 1 or stay side by side? He does do it by turn 1. Joe Wilson keeps his nose in there to maybe allow a cutback, but not going to happen. It's Bonkers getting the place and helping Red Bull out with trying to extend their championship lead. Behind that, Blue Goggy is spinning around. Big damage. Tadpole's out.
See another bloody safety car.
VSC out. Now it's a full safety car. It's been upgraded. Mintoki got a piece. Valk got a piece. And Blue Goggy involved in more accidents. In Portimao. We had one in tier or F2, excuse me, with him. In this exact scenario right here where he's going through now with Beatnik. Now it's with the guy who's from the same academy as Beatnik. Tadpole.
It's disappointing.
Why is the safety car on track, but it's still showing only a VSC?
I think it might just be a...
upgraded.
Hopefully,
there we
go. I was just thinking it was a graphics glitch on the
I was worried
side,
about Brazil 2.0 happening.
Oh, dear.
For those of you not aware, Eoin, explain what happened earlier this season in Brazil.
So, I don't remember much to be fair, but yes,
Safety car glitched twice, by the way.
Safety car came out and then came in on the exact same lap when nobody had caught it. And a lot of people got caught off guard by it. Because a lot of people have obviously pitted, to try and get an advantage, and why like that?
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, we got lagging out.
Have I lagged out?
From 2 people. Have I lagged out or have you lagged out?
I lagged out as well.
This is glitched maybe because I've lagged out.
I'll take a screenshot.
What has happened?
Oh, fuck's sake, this game is shit.
Kipu said lobby died. Tadpole said, GG, get me back in. Everyone's leaving. Those are the comments being made. Everyone gone. JTK says, the lobby has definitely died. I can assure you that.
Yes, I'm going to ask Hunt.
So we'll get attempt number 2 at this, and I think the last time this has properly happened, Eoin, that I remember, is Austria Tier 2 last season, where a race had started. Not a qualifying session being done and then being restarted. A race has started and the race had to be restarted. So I don't think it's just your end, Eoin, or mine, or lobby glitched. And Miniko, I know you're watching. Is this what you warned about last night? That's my question to you.
George's gonna do the host.
This is exactly what he means with bugs coming back yesterday, Miniko said. So, you said, do you want you to host? Is that what you're asking?
George's gonna be hosting. I will take a photo of the grid.
Have George, by the way, just for FYI, therefore does not do at least a safety car start, because I know that's what Gecko was worried about. Have George get in a car and retire on lap 1. Because that's going to be the only way we avoid some glitches. I hope this doesn't keep happening, though, is going to be my concern. Because, yeah. Fun. Well, it is a leap year, Eoin. And I thought a lot of the spooky stuff that would have happened yesterday, with there rarely being a February 29th, but with it being March 1st today, it's all come to today, it seems. So it's really unfortunate that we're having a restart midway through. 6 viewers still. Hold on, folks, patiently. We'll keep you up to date. But by the way, they're continuing.
Bad as well on the party, bro. This is devastating. PC is horrible.
I don't hear your voice lagging in here, honestly.
I can hear you lagging, so hopefully it's. I don't know if it's just.
I don't hear you lagging. I don't hear you lagging, so. And I thought I would have been, to be fair. Alright then. This is troubling that there's been some connection issues.
I'm just gonna talk to George at the party quickly. Should be like 2 minutes, and I'll just get a.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I don't even know if this is unjoinable or not, or invite only. I'm just gonna make sure it is joinable. We'll keep it unjoinable for now. Yeah, keep in mind, folks, the F1 Tier 1 continues as well tomorrow at Silverstone and FE at Abu Dhabi for Saturday and Sunday. not Kipu. I was just looking at Kipu's clip for a second that he posted in chat, seeing that it was an ass and spun around for sure. I was just gonna say how what was it? Wow. I know. I was just gonna say with the lag out issues. I was just gonna say something about that. I don't remember what I was gonna say. 7 laps of 33 is about 21% of the race done. Okay, good to know. All right. Miniko, explain what you mean from yesterday. Therefore, if it happens again, we're aware of it. I want you to explain a little bit more into that. What necessarily happened that you were aware of? Because I know you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't say anything in case it happened. I would like to hear what you were speaking about in the RPL Discord server, because for those of you not aware, Miniko, Tier 1 driver for Mercedes Academy, said how there were some game bugs to be aware of for tomorrow, but wouldn't say what it is. So, and only would if it happened today, and I understand that because you don't want to put people into panic, but yeah, now say what it is, please, because I'm quite curious to know. I've been invited to play F123. You're spending the lobby in just a moment. All right, so let's have a little bit of RPL storytelling time. Miniko explains in the chat. Well, for one, which was what just happened here, happened in his race, and what just happened now. Also, people lagging out midway like Ardell did despite having solid connection, which Ardell showed his connection in the Discord server. Safety car bugs with it coming out immediately might be because of formation laps, to name a few. Well, I mean, formation laps is usual with the safety car coming out, but there was no formation lap here, which is why I said Groggers should host, but should get in a car, therefore he can retire in the pit lane, and yeah. I was going to say, the only way I could think of running the race then is no safety car, but that'd be quite crappy for people who get messed up. Yeah, that's interesting, to say the least. Race will start from the qualifying grid. Breaking news, the race will start from the qualifying grid. So everything will be put the same from what it was about ETA 15 minutes ago. So yeah, it's as simple as that. Boring. Invade, can you join back? Yes, join back, Invade, please. To be fair, wasn't George having connection problems in Tier 1 last week? Yes, but that was before the 1.20 update. 1.20 came out with the 2024 liveries on TT, and that brought back some old bugs. So I hope this does not get demonetized or taken down or any issue with that, but I want to say a big thank you to EA. All right, we're going to get Eoin to join back, but 8 of you watching, please sit tight. Let's get Invade back in here now. Again. No, is he even online? Where is he? Where'd he go? Last seen 20 minutes ago. Appeared offline, maybe? Hopefully he's appeared offline. Where is Eoin? Eoin, join back, please. We need Eoin back. For the commentary's sake. Hopefully he joins back. Don't forget to break this time, says Valk. Or Tadpole to Valk. My internet seems better, not fully sure. What else do we got here? Let's go over the constructor standings for just one moment, one more time. Red Bull lead the way over Mercedes by 16 points. That's the focus for the rest of the season. Red Bull over Mercedes. Well, Ferrari still have a chance. Don't forget about them. They had the first double podium of any team this season. Well, McLaren are saying, we got a long shot. We got some good momentum. We got a double podium just last week. So 4 teams still eligible. I think that's probably the first time that's happened into the last round of RPL in Tier 2 in a while. So, yeah. And I guess Invade is not coming back from what we see. But Grogger's smart of you to choose a car. And thank you so much for hosting. We appreciate it. Admin, doing admin work. Welcome back, Eoin. Why does it say I'm on a call on my phone? I'm not. The fuck? Oh, okay. Might need to include your audio again. Let's see.
Yeah, it's working.
Alright, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I can tell the stream's a little bit further behind than usual by just a little bit, but that's okay. Miniko said the glitch that he was talking about last night, this is basically exactly it. So, any new things you should make this stream aware about, Eoin, is to your coordinator?
We're just restarting from the quali grid, obviously. So, exciting. I'm sorry.
Meaning it's also a dry race, by the way.
Yes, completely dry
For
race. Sorry,
context.
yes.
I think we could say the strategy as well. Probably medium to hard, soft hard. You know, maybe soft medium from JTK, who just seems to have that PC grip. So yeah, who knows? Oh, we still have, what, 33 laps to get underway, and hopefully no glitches this time. And a pack-sized field, 15 drivers. racing tonight's event with a Constructors Championship that can either go to next week with 4 teams, 3 teams, 2, or can be wrapped up tonight. A lot needs to happen for that to be the case, but Red Bull, they need to win big.
Going through it, bro.
5 lights are coming on one more time after a restart originally. Can this time be done cleanly? Lights are out. Away we go. And this time, the Ferraris get almost a level start. J&T still, though, going to have to cover off Cintrix and Bonkers because the second phase. And now, do they avoid the trouble for turn 1 that they had previously? They do. Everybody very clean, but Bonkers down the inside and almost on the inside of Cintrix, almost hitting him. Ardell there as well. A ghosted car there in the middle of the pack after a bit of contact. I think that's JTK. He's either lagged out or having trouble, but now Hunted making a move on Ardell down the inside. Turn 5, heavy braking zone to lunge it down the inside. Both that's in side by side, and they come together.
They come together.
And that's caused a stack up at the back of the field. You got JTK, Kipu, you got Blue Gagi, all those guys mixing it up, dicing it up at the back of the field now.
Oh no,
while
the
race
come together.
Again, Valk around and resets. That'll see the steward's office. Titan and JTK, 2 Alpine teammates. Don't collide there, buddies. Now we got Mintoki, Tadpole, side by side, wheel to wheel. Kipu as well with Wavy. Tons of racing throughout the midfield, and we've kept it VSC and safety car free, thankfully.
Oh, God.
Let's keep it that way. 2 positions for Kipu, 3 for Gagi. 4 down for Mintoki, 3 down for JTK. Those are your big winners and big losers. Kipu, Gagi, Wavy, JTK. It's an absolute mess on the main straight. Nearly 4 wide. Contact. A little bit more contact as they head toward turn 1 between Gagi, Wavy, and that was Kipu in on the mix. Now Kipu getting dive from Wavy down the inside, making the move. 2 AlphaTauri teammates almost collide. And around the outside, Kipu makes a little nice and neat move on Wavy. But Wavy wants to have a go back. Does he? No. And they're back to single file racing while Cintrix chases after J&T.
Oh, dear. Let me actually see what's going on now, that I can actually enjoy myself after all that stress. The live timings are working
flag still
again,
is for George's car.
Yes.
He's not a competitor.
It's just
by the way,
told George to pick the Alpha and Bear just so the in case there's a thing that the host the spectator that's an issue. Just make sure that didn't happen.
So Titan says, by the way, to you, Owen, he thinks Gecko being slow in the speed trap is his in quality. Is his TT setup having him a nearly 50 wings. Speaking of that, let's see how Ardell does in the background, trying to make a move. No.
I think Bonky will be moving through the field a bit quicker. Those soft tires on the Red Bull.
Yeah, you got a better start, too. Oh, JTK. Spinner. Around and at turn 1.
Disaster.
He's facing the wrong way, and Valk is retired in the pit lane.
Total waste of your time, Val. You rejoin, get a second chance at life, and you just throw it away like an idiot. So you're scum.
And maybe gonna get a penalty for a reset. Maybe.
Probably if someone.
It's usually almost an automatic penalty.
Mr.
Just a matter of
Speedy
if
with a
the
friend
person
request.
gets it submitted.
You're gonna get Speedy in the lobby. He wants to help people.
All right. Yeah, if you're going to be in the lobby, help with invites if people lag out, because that seems to be the big issue from what we've seen thus far. Yellow flag staying out a little longer than normal, but there's no safety car from it, so I think that's a good thing. Wavy, by the way, is duking it out with Kipu, and Wavy is an Aston Martin sandwich. One driver in front of him, he's raced before in F2, he's raced before in RPL as a whole, and he's raced a lot this season. The other one, behind him, well, I think he's probably fearing Blue Gagi as well, because he's collided with Gagi too many times.
Blue Gagi is a scary man to be racing with. And if I was moving on, I'd be personally disappointed to be racing these two. You should be long ahead of them, but
and nice little switchback from Kipu, but for the lead, we need to get back to it for just a second. No, we don't. Kipu back down the inside. Is he going to pull off the move?
The
He has the inside line there. Goggy with the inside. Next corner.
Ooh,
inching.
yeah.
Almost shutting the door. And now, Kipu has the outside line for turn 5. Nice little ding-dong battle between both AlphaTauri teammates here. Blue Goggy gets the advantage by taking 9th place. This is a perfect night for these guys to score points, Eoin, with a shorter field, a race of attrition from what it seems like, and a race of what's going to be survival, I think.
I completely agree with what you're saying. Sorry, people will keep messaging me, stressing me over stuff. Well, obviously, from the first 7 laps of the previous race, a lot of DNFs, a lot of crashes, lots of incidents. So far, pretty clean enough, apart from the Valkyrie incident with the Wavy knife. Which is,
yeah.
I've just remembered, sorry Wavy, that's why you're down where you are, because your teammate did destroy you. But yes.
Got a fair point.
Everyone just needs to keep the noses clean if they want a good result. Kipu is the biggest of this. Hello. Dad just entered my room while I was commentating, I was really cringy. But fine.
You know what? I am noticing as we follow on this train, and both Red Bulls have to be very careful of it, because Bonky almost just ran on the back of Cintrix trying to be careful of it. The Ferraris are going to prevail in the sector with the most corners, or the area with the most corners. Well, probably around right here. But as you see on the main straight, those Red Bulls, without any DRS from, well, I think it was actually DRS, but even with DRS, they gained a whole lot right there. I was looking at the gaps, they were just gaining it and gaining it and gaining it down on the cars in front, both Ferraris. So yes, the Ferraris, I'm sure, have maximized their corner speed, but they got to be very careful when it comes to braking for turn 1 or just areas after long straights, because those Ferraris, I mean, yes, they can brake later, but they have to be careful of the difference in the speed that they have. Lap 6 about to get underway.
It's a chunky DRS train at the front of the field. To be fair, the top 6 are all within DRS of each other. The gap to the leader from Hunted is 2.7 seconds, so the top 6 within 2.7 seconds. Quite crazy at this stage in the race, and a realistic performance lead. Joe Wilson obviously just losing the tail of the cars in front. At this stage in the race, and he had a big snap of shares, did Mr. Wilson. If I was in Mr. Wilson's situation right now, obviously I'd be, you're going to be a bit upset. You've been gapped. You're going to keep getting gapped there. But he holds all the power now.
Hold on a second. Never mind.
What do you call it? The big. What do you call it? Is it the undercut? Yes, the undercut.
You could say that. Yeah.
The undercut.
Works.
You pit early and get the first tires on and then catch the queue. If someone in that queue in front of him pits before him, he's going to be in big trouble. So he's going to want to make sure he's the first one to do it.
I was about to say hold on, because Blue Goggy and Wavy were close once again, and they're actually having really decent runs right now, considering they're behind all the top cars. 8th and 9th for them. Kipu's also caught up once again, but now for the race lead, J&T is caught up for the sake of Gecko and trying to make sure at least one of the Ferraris are in front rather than the Red Bulls. DRS applied, and now what does J&T do? What does Ardell do further back? He makes the move and gets past for 4th place.
Clinically disappointing this season, I can't lie. I was expecting
and now J&T chasing after your race leader. HSR Geckos, one here before an FE. The McLaren have hunted off the track for just a moment. Might have picked up a track limit warning, but now he's just waiting on what happens in front with Bonky and Ardell.
Gecko absolutely destroying the rest of the field in terms of ERS conservation. 56%. The 2 cars behind him are on around 30, and the 3 cars behind them are on around 10 to 20 as well. And the only other driver close is Mr. Wilson, who's just chucking it behind on the 50 ERS as well. So Gecko just taking it easy at this point in the race. If he wanted to, he could gap everyone behind him, but he's just chilling, taking his time, dragging his team along as a defence. So I wonder. Manico's saying the medium soft is possible for some teams, but for Ferrari, it's a big stretch. So Ferrari will need to save their tyres to make a medium soft work. Could this be what they're doing? As Cintrix now is going to take advantage of this possible tyre saving between the 2 Ferraris, and he's going to overtake one. It'll be too far behind to overtake the other, and we've got a safety car for what? JPK has lost his front wing.
Well, at least it's a valid safety car, but lap 7 is where the restart happened just moments ago. Hopefully, the safety car ends up scot-free. I want to be careful because that safety car is right in the middle of the track. These guys might hit it if they come around the blind corner and don't see it. I think they'll be fine now because of where it's at.
It's going to be good for Topple, actually. He's on the hard compound tire,
Yes.
so he's got that out of the road. He can go medium now. It's like he was going to do in the other race. And it'll get him back into the Grand Prix after the disastrous start. Titan can get those soft tires off finally for him. And the same with Bonky, because clearly the softs just aren't working clearly because Bonky doesn't have the pace. This isn't the same man who was racing for the podium in the Haas at Suzuka a few seasons ago. This is a completely different man in the Red Bull. Seems he's lost his confidence. Might need to refine it. Hopefully for next season he does refine that confidence.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think he's been a little inconsistent here and there. I think he's had races, especially the one where he won, or what the two he won, where he has been up there. He's been confident again, but he's also had races exactly like you said, where why is he 5th in a Red Bull and he's being beaten by Centrix?
Centrix is no
so we'll
slouch,
see.
to be fair. He's a very good,
That is true.
driver, very quick. But
that is true.
when you compare it to the likes of Gecko should not be, realistically, Gecko should not be in this fight, obviously, because as the leaders do come into take their seats car pit stop, Gecko is way too good in comparison to all these other drivers. The only issue
Red Bull double stack, by the way.
The only issue with Gecko is that he is quicker. He was much quicker than me. He just wasn't as what Jack labelled it as he wasn't as good. So obviously, certain drivers are slower, but more dependable. Gecko was just really quick, and sometimes like you can't really depend on him. I don't know what the opposite of dependable is. Undependable.
Unreliable.
Unreliable, yes. But at the moment, in the last few races, Gecko has been proven to be quite a reliable set of hands. And I hope I don't jinx that. Actually, I do hope I jinx it because I don't want to see it win. I want to see another new race winner. In Centrix hasn't won, has he?
He has not won.
Love to see him. And Gecko's going for softs, by the way. Intriguing.
Yes, and Bonky got held up, by the way, to where he's now behind Joe Wilson and hunted.
Okay. Mr. Wilson getting stuck in there. He's back into this little cute car, is that? So Gecko's obviously going to be doing a medium, soft, medium, I assume. Centrix is obviously going to go to the end of those hards. So yeah, everyone on hards is going to be wanting to go to the end of the race. Titan, for some reason, didn't pit. He's going to be causing absolute mass chaos on the restart. I cannot wait. This is going to be very much.
Yeah, Goggy and Titan, both. Yeah.
On Goggy, I didn't see that. Yeah, Goggy.
Yeah, but fair play to him, though. He's been having a good race, and this is a perfect opportunity for him to take advantage and prove others wrong. I mean, this circuit, it was in a different league. I think it was the first... I can't say it's the first league. Well, first league of mine he ever went full-time in throughout a full season. He steered across the track for the pit lane when pitting after a safety car restart, got damage, and caused a massive accident that got him a race ban. Well, he got a race ban earlier this season in RPL. He returned last week, and yeah, I mean he's I would say besides his incidents, he's actually got a lot more pace this season. And you know what? Although one thing is digress still with incidents still being bad, collisions with Wavy, he does have the pace this time around. So kudos on that aspect because I don't think it's going to be necessarily too bad of a roadblock here for him.
I mean, Goggy's been doing okay in this race, to be fair. I don't believe in the. I don't believe that he's a better man. I think he's still going to be a heinous, disgusting racer, wheel to wheel. And obviously, we say if we keep seeing any antics like he did to get a race ban, it could be a ta-ta for even a season. So he needs to be very careful. To learn from his mistakes, to not be so reckless. Plays the keyboard and he's wheel to wheel with cars.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair to say. I'll let you take over the safety car restart as it's about to come in. I'm pretty sure. Oh, J&T, the race leader. We have 5 guys who've stayed out.
5 guys. The
Five
lovely
guys.
burger chain.
Yeah.
The palette, to be fair. JNT is going to be
Yeah.
leading a Ferrari with the number 5, reminiscent of the great Sebastian Vettel.
No, Nigel Mansell. I'm kidding. Fernando
JNT,
Alonso.
Sebastian
Maybe? I don't know.
Vettel Gaming 101 is going to be leading the restart. Ardell's going to be looking to get a move on as well. Ardell obviously didn't pit as well. The 2 front runners who didn't pit are in first and second. JNT is going to be doing a stop with a 5-second penalty for severe collision. Wavy and Ardell have the same amount of pit stops to do as potential winner Gecko. We're on! That's a brilliant getaway from the front 3. They've left him talking in the dust. He's been absolutely destroyed by Mr. Gecko and hunted up into in front of Titan Ironwolf. And Titan, is he going to give it a little bit of a...
Whoa, no! Gecko!
Gecko, what's he done?
Slammed the Mercedes, and now there's a major stack up. And it's a gaggle of cars down to turn 5. Sorry to cut in, Eoin, but Gecko down the inside. Goggy getting started up, and now hunted on both. Contact right there, you said, but there's about 9-10 cars in a blanket right there. Contact still.
Oh my goodness gracious me. What would you see the 2 Mercer with
Both Mercedes side by side.
Oh dear.
Everybody's going at it. Citrix off the road from Ardell, who's holding up the pack now. 3 wide for a moment right here. Both Red Bulls involved. Down the inside. Yellow flags for their back. That's Wavy around. But now, Bonkers is squeezing Ardell. And it's all kicking off on the safety car restart. We can't keep up with what's happening. Still down the inside. Side-by-side racing continuing. And now JTK gets tadpole while they're 2x2. It's a little bit of NASCAR-style racing with the way they're racing back here.
Gecko's going to overtake his teammate to retake the lead.
The lead. Gecko takes it back.
Team orders, possibly Blue Goggy has no defense on Mr. Wilson. And there's been a little bit of a Uno reverse card in the races of the 2 Mercedes as down the inside gets Contrix.
Now down the inside, Bonky on Blue Goggy and absolutely muscles his way past.
Goggy couldn't really be putting up a fight against the Red Bull, but he should be putting up against a fight against the Mercedes behind him. But he's also in a fight against Citrix and the Red Bull. He's gone down the inside. Oh dear, contact!
No! Ardell had a little collision there from the rear and the front, just colliding, and he actually almost passed him by doing it. And now Goggy shuts the door and they go off! Goggy's in the gravel!
One time Goggy's been involved in it, and that's not his fault.
Oh, poor guy was racing Ardell as well. He had the right to race Ardell because they both had not pitted yet.
Ardell has lost his head after that massive bump and run from Gecko. He tried to turn in on Gecko, started racing very recklessly with everyone else. And like I said, yes, Joe Wilson has pulled an Uno reverse card on his teammate here. Completely flipped to the 2 drivers' races. Joe Wilson now in the more advantageous spot of the 2 Mercs. And Ardell in the absolute mud. And here comes Hunter Laxatives. He's going to the end of the race. Overtakes JT in those warm mediums. So Hunted is technically a net race lead here. Gecko's going to have to pull off a massive gap. And then pit again then for the medium tyres. He's going to do a 2-stop strategy. Hunted going to the end. This is good for Hunted if he can get the pace going. He might be able to win this Grand Prix, but Gecko obviously in the quicker strategy, he's been talking at the penalty and has an issue with Kipu. Yeah, so Gecko needs to get a move on basically here.
Yeah. Those tires are going to be blistering for Titan very soon, needing to pit. But not going to matter for him because he's outside the points right now. One of those guys yet to pit. JNT, though, yet to pit. And now he might do some favors for HSR Gecko.
Poor Goggy, man. We're running a Zoom little race there, having a little bit of fun. And it all gets thrown away. But Joe Wilson is now catching JNT. JNT is losing lots of time on these worn tyres. An interesting strategy call, to be fair. I would have just double stacked. But he stayed out. He's going to try and stay with this group of cars. He's been gapped already by Hunted. On the same tyres as the 3 cars behind him. But yeah, JNT just needs to, if he gets overtaken, which is very likely, he just needs to stay with these this little group of cars.
Well, he
Usually
might be
it's not
overtaken
closer.
here, even with the DRS that he would have got from Hunted, but Joe Wilson has now, because the fact that there's barely any straight line speed in that Ferrari, but even then, there's just so many corners around the circuit to where I don't think that's going to happen, and Bonkers, fair play to him not hitting the back of J&T right there. That got very hairy. Oh, Titan and Wavy. Two guys who do not like each other. Titan gonna pinch Wavy and shove him off the road.
Titan is
Wavy out and ahead. Wavy lets him go. Wavy tries to overtake now.
Illegal overtake for Wavy there. Titan forced him off the road, which is illegal itself, but obviously an all-out overtake off the circuit, which Wavy did, and he's using all of his battery to get right behind Titan. I smell a dive bomb. He goes for it. Absolutely scintillating. A collision is inevitable. Titan off the road with another penalty. And Wavy dive, is he going to go for it again? Titan defends the inside, moves across very interestingly. Could that be dangerous from Titan there? Possibly. We'll have to review it.
Joe Wilson now with J&T for third place in this race. Joe Wilson
he's
and now Bonkers pulling out.
Bonkers
pulling out from the back, and Cintrix does too, and J&T's been overtaken by 3 cars on one straight, and almost Red Bull have a collision with both drivers for just a second. That was close in the turn 1 area where they almost came together.
That was pure thievery there. It was like taking candy from a baby. And Wavy is now got
well, I think you've just taken some candy from Wavy. 3-second time penalty. Or maybe Wavy took candy from you because he's got penalized for track limits, going out of bounds. Gonna see a lot of that tonight. Maybe the race could be won on that based on how it happens. I think that happened with the Chiller and TB before penalties set in the Portimao race last ran in Season 8 F1. By the way, last winner here, Mercedes, Bourbon Boy, Tier 2.
Good. That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was. End of last game.
And we're in the second last season of this game. One more season after this one, of course. With a new game being released in January, February, March, April, May. And here comes Bonkers 7 on Joseph Wilson. Easy move. Into the pit lane comes Ardell, as expected. What tyre will he go for? Will it be the hard compound? If it's the hard compound tires, he's a fool. It's the hard compound tires. Why did he not come in during the safety car? What a silly goose.
Well, that's why Minico said you could tell that Ardell was not being race engineered by him, but Joe Wilson almost moving in the braking zone. That got very close right there. He's now in a Red Bull sandwich, though, because the fact that Ardell has came in. And that Hunted's pulled a big enough gap anyway, too, in that battle that he was in.
Okay, Bonkers with a big tank slapper. He's got the Verstappen helmet on there, so I'm looking to make the greatness of Verstappen. Oh, he's going to want to try and catch Hunted, which is, again, I keep repeating, is pits again. But Gek will be absolutely rampant when he pits again. I don't know, is the pit lane in this track long or is it quite short?
I
what does it tell me? I'll check the pit stop.
Let's see. Hold on. Joe Wilson on Bonkers with DRS, blasts past, takes third place. So we got a race in our hands here. And they've caught up to Hunted. Tadpole gets JTK too, by the way. That's further on back. I think there was almost an accordion effect for third place now because Cintrix is all over the back of Bonkers, and Bonkers went wide out of turn 4. And here he comes down the inside, Eoin. He's got the preferred inside line, but does the outside line prevail on corner exit? For now, it's not. Aston off, that's Wavy, but here comes Bonkers excelling on the corner exit to keep 4th place.
You think we're in Spain with these bulls looking horns, but we are in Portugal. They do not like bullfighting in this country. More civilized as Portugal and that disgusting nation Spain. I'm joking. But yes. The Blue Bulls.
I will say,
swapped.
I think Gecko's strategy here, based on what he's done, he might extend to softs again for the second stint, or mediums here, but with the gap he's pulled, He will obviously have to overtake some cars in the process when he gets back there. Hunted has Joe Wilson for company because Joe Wilson will have DRS, but so will the guys further on back too. It's just a matter about, it's just a matter of how Bonkers and Centric utilizes that DRS.
Kippo is interestingly doing very well actually. Kippo here.
Yes, I'm now staying off my phone for the rest of the race.
And he's being quite smart actually, not using up all of his DRS to waste himself on getting an overtake. So wise driving from Kippo, who's usually quite slow in the Red Bull.
Yeah, I was gonna say he does outperform this car. He's good in cars that seem to not do well. But I was just gonna say I'm staying off my phone for the rest of this race. So I'm not gonna pay attention to that because I realize I've been missing some of the battling going on. 410 Gecko is extended from the race lead, so even though those soft tires are dying, it's not necessarily the crossover point just yet. And even when he comes out of the pit lane, he's going to need to be, I don't know, Michael Schumacher at this point. With how much pace he needs to set. 6.5. I mean, Gecko's really showing today. Ferrari car may not be the best around here. It may be closer to the Red Bull than most circuits. Even if it's ahead by just a little bit, though. He's really utilizing his pace at this circuit, and it's one of his best, as shown by the FE win. Yes. Joe Wilson in DRS now. And does he wait to turn one, or does he wait past that? He's not going to wait much longer.
Here he comes.
Here he comes.
The Swedish driver.
Yes. Second place is his, and he's looking for a third RPL podium tonight. Would be crucial for the team, but so would it for Red Bull to try to extend the lead. Hunting's hit the back of Joe Wilson. Big Constantiner effect now, because that's backed them up, and now JNT's going to catch up, but it's made all these four guys battling much closer.
Oh dear. Oh no, Hunted!
And somehow he remains straight.
Only on the racetrack.
Yes.
Not the bedroom.
Well, it's not May just yet, so we'll figure that out when it's May. Or June, excuse me. Whatever the month is. I don't care.
Well, he's going to have to get back in DRS range.
I'm sorry, LGBTQ community. I did not know what month Pride Month was in for a second. I confused it with Military May, which is more important.
Bars.
Twitch is not going to like that. Oh, well.
It doesn't matter. Everyone's allowed an opinion.
Does not matter.
Martin Brundle said...
At least I'm not calling the Russian Grand Prix the Chicago Grand Prix. How's Titan doing? 14th?
14th.
Pitted recently?
He's just chilling. He's enjoying himself. He's enjoying his little cameo.
Speaking of that, two people yet to pit. JNT and Mintoki.
Yes.
A little more serious. Let's get back to second place, though.
Do some data if there's no on-track action.
Yeah.
So, top speeds of every car on the circuit. Would you be surprised to know that Echo has the lowest top speed of 315 kilometers per hour? Obviously,
not surprised.
He's not been in the DRS all race, so that's obviously a very big factor in that. JNT with the 321. Let's compare that to the Red Bull Bonkers, who's in the 328, and Cintrix in the 331. Hunted is also quite low. And so is the Mercedes, actually, surprisingly. He's only in the 320s, 323s.
So, Mintoki, by the way, sorry to cut it out. I was just going to say, Mintoki makes his first pit stop. Kippo's in DRS at JTK, and Wavy's in DRS at Ardell while that was happening. That's the only thing that we could speak of with that. The thing that I was going to say with that, I'm not surprised, but that would go to show... Oh, Joe Wilson went wide. Hold on just a second. That would go to show if we do get any more battles, DRS is going to massively help Gecko, and even then, it won't be an easy task to get by these guys. Two big battles, Red Bulls, both are going side by side right now in what is the last corner, and now, while JNT pits, Hunted is going to pick off Joe Wilson, and it will be his place now while the Red Bulls continue going side by side.
Oh,
Cintrix out ahead, goes off track, Bunkers comes back with 4th place.
And Kippo's going to be looking to make a move, is he? No. He's just still sitting behind him. Very wise from Kippo, I keep saying. And Hunter with a penalty. An absolute penalty merchant. Here comes Cintrix on his teammate. Down to the hairpin. Bonky breaks later. He gives them just enough space. A little bit of argy-bargy, touchy-watchy, witchy-watchy, watchy. And on the exit of the hairpin, the driver on the outside line gets the better run. And Bonky holds off his teammate. This is costing them valuable time, though. if they were a smart team, they would just say, "All right, Bonky, I'm quicker than you. Move." And Bonky would be like, "Yes,
Or
no problem."
if they're gonna battle, let it only be on the DRS straights at the most, and then figure it out once you get to the corner, because once you get to the corner, you lose less time continuing to go side by side. If you go side by side in those corner areas where the Ferrari prevails, well, it's gonna mess you up here, and Gecko's gonna continue to pull away like he has been. And that 3-second penalty Hunted got, very crucial. Hunted's in.
Interesting. I don't know why he's pitting.
Sure,
obviously
gonna make it.
You're gonna try and control the race here. He's gonna probably come in for the soft tires. He's gonna have 11 laps to go on them. He's gonna come in for the softs. He's obviously playing a risky strategy. He's got to make it pay off.
Kipu gets JTK. Sorry to cut in, Eoin.
No,
but
is more important.
Big battle. JNT2. Oh, wow! That was almost contact with him and Ardell. He had to take evasive action, and JNT racing down the main straight where he has no straight line speed. Gets Ardell. Yellow flags. That's further on back.
So Ardell's having a bit of a bad race for Mercedes here. Looks like Mercedes is fight at the Constructors' Championship is resting on Joe Wilson mostly this race. Ardell needs a bit of a recovery drive, a late safety car or something, get him back in this race. That is if he doesn't get any interesting penalties from the antics he performed. Let's hope that doesn't happen though. And yes, so Hunter has pulled the trigger. Will the rest of them follow him and secede the victory to Gecko in that case? Because if they all pit, Gecko's won the race. There's no way they're catching 10 seconds. And here comes Gecko, the right is into the pit lane.
Good, because he's going to go for soft tires right here. He's already done 14 laps on them, and this will be the rest of the stint. And so does Joe Wilson
Red Bull
in terms of the drivers pitting. Very surprising, but Red Bull now control this race, and they're going to go main. No, they're not.
Together now. These two Red Bulls know they've got a big fight on their hands with the soft tires. They've got 10 laps to hold off what will be a Gecko mediums.
Oh, well, that is interesting.
So he'll still be rapid, he just won't be as quick. He's obviously must have ran out of soft tires.
Oh, and he made a mistake coming out of the pit lane, by the way. Very crucial in terms of trying to catch back up, by the way, because that wiggle costed him DRS to Kipu, which he would have had right here.
He has a 14.3 second gap to catch in 10 laps time. Will he cook up a storm here? Will he cook up a gourmet dish?
Overtaken on the main straight, by the way, while that happened.
Good news, Softs is going to get some points this race, it seems to be. They just need to get the penalty gap on Blue Doggy behind. The two Mercs close together on track. Again, Joe Wilson having a better race, which is not what we expected from the start of the first stint. And Gecko then getting through on Kipu as well. Easy enough move. Gecko's already gained a second and a half. So it's looking good.
Would the soft tires have made a difference? Because that's what JNT is on, that's what Hunted's on, Joe Wilson, Mintoki, JTK, and Wavy.
He would have been much quicker, obviously, but if he didn't have a spare set of fresh offs, there's no point. The Rebels do not need to fight each other. They just need to keep DRSing off each other.
But
and
that's
Bonky
smart.
has absolutely ruined it. Bonky's absolutely ruined it. He's had a major oversteer moment. And that's disastrous.
That's smart, though, the fact that they swapped on the main straight rather than just continuously battling like they were before.
Agreed.
Pitting Tadpole, pitting Kipu. Very important to mention. Gecko, though, is in a massive battle for second place in the championship with Bonky now. He got pole position. That's not a point, though. But he started better. He had control of this race. JTK, who had a chance for second 1 point in the championship, not going to get anymore. He gets P11, though, or P10 now.
JNT,
so the thing is, this battle is crucial, just to mention that. Gecko 2 points behind, Bonky 2 points ahead.
He's catching rapidly here. But yeah, JNT was actually the driver who pulled the trigger, not Hunted. My apologies, I was wrong on that. JNT's got an undercut on obviously Joe Wilson and the two Red Bulls if they did pit. But yes, JNT got the jump on Mr. Wilson. And Hunted, interestingly, pitted 1 lap before Joe Wilson and got almost a 3.7 second advantage on him. So 1 lap undercut from Hunted gained a massive amount of time as the two AlphaTauris are battling it out. So obviously massive difference in pace with one being on one hard and Cintrix for the penalty. So that'll make.
So my suggestion to Red Bull is, if Gecko catches up here, you got to find a way to have Bonkers be the leading car and Centrix be the second place car if you want this win as a team. Because there's no way, if Gecko catches up here in the remaining less than 10 laps, that you end up finding a way to keep this race victory if he's right there, with Bonkers being the second car. Tadpole gets Mentoki.
Mentoki still should get some points in this race. Hopefully for them.
All right, let's find out what happens with just, what, 7-ish laps about to remain here.
Apologies, I was just
Well,
having a phone call with my
you're good.
mother.
I was just going to say, Bonky's now at a DRS, and that's not what he needs, because he is absolutely needing Centrix to be the car behind, because Gecko is gaining at a rate more than not.
That is poor teamwork, I'd say, from Centrix there. Centrix should really be helping his teammate try and win this Grand Prix since he's not got that penalty, but could be costing him this Grand Prix by not giving him the DRS as Gecko. You can see he's absolutely it's just unbelievable. The pace he's using right now. I'll tell you what his top speed is.
That's
now.
probably why he went to mediums, because these mediums are going to last more longer than the softs, and that makes sense. But the thing is that if Bonky's the control car compared to Centrix, though, you can have Centrix force Gecko into an error, and then you're the one racing him rather than just playing the game for your teammate.
Gecko's gained
There's a
in that last
lot
lap 2.4 seconds.
Insane. Mentoki with JTK, by the way, is 9th place. And he has a penalty, which would promote Kippu to the points. Blue Gaggi's still on hards. Not the best of races from him after his trouble. But 3.9 the gap. Bonkers trying to win what is going to be all-time in Tier 2 for him. A 6th race that would move him up to the most Tier 2 races instead of equaling the record with George. The most Tier 2 wins without a title if he were to win today. Centrix has never won. And Gecko just won his first race a couple weeks ago and is now looking for win number 2 and trying to take over 2nd place in the championship before next week's race in Vegas, the finale. And if Red Bull maintain this 1-2 right now over Ferrari, I don't know if they win the title or not. You're going to have to do some math, Eoin. But with that being said, I want to mention this with Bonkers and Gecko right now. Bonkers, no battery at all. Gecko at least has 20%. You can't save any battery here if you're Bonky. He's not been saving anything. Wavy with a 3-second, and Mentoki's been overtaken for the last point spot.
Poor form, in my opinion, from Centrix. Like, he really should be slowing down to give his teammate the doors. He's going to lose both positions anyway. He's not going to gap it, both of them, by 3 seconds.
He can't gap it. He can try, but you can't. You can. Gecko's already there in 3 seconds of him, almost. Gaggi with a penalty.
So he's just cost himself on his teammate. Possible good result here.
Let me check past this lap for a second here, folks. Just going to do some maths with Bonkers currently having the win and Centrix being...
lap.
Yeah, J&T does. You're right.
Well,
but Gecko's about to get the DRS, and he's going to be within 3 seconds. So this means current results with the way they're at. Red Bull 40.
26
Ferrari.
points for Ferrari.
26. That would Gecko in 2nd place. Because I'd have him net P2 right now. Because he's going to get there, and he is now there.
Yes, that's true.
28. 29? 29. They extend an 11-point gap so that if things end up with Gecko taking 2nd, Ferrari remain in control here of having a chance at the championship. Mercedes, though, are causing the gap to be a little bit further back. 6th place right now. 7th place right now. Kippu gets JTK, by the way. I know we're missing Kippu's overtake. Sorry about that. But lots of things going to happen here in the final laps with Gecko finally in DRS. So, by the way, Red Bull are
Easy,
beating
man.
Mercedes, by the way, by 25 points. That nearly puts Mercedes out of the equation. Ferrari nearly out of the equation as well. The spinner around is Bulgogi, but there's no safety car from it, and there might not even be a safety car for the rest of this race,
Good
while
day,
Gecko needs this place now. Because he can be able to gap Cintrix if Cintrix gets that 3-second removed. But racing down the main straight, Gecko and Bonky side by side. Gecko prevailing ahead and does take the place. Gecko back up to second place. Bonker using track limits, though, to try to get back to Gecko, but can't do it.
Like an F2 versus an F1 there.
So now Gecko has the lead for Ferrari, but not on track. Ferrari, by the way, about to be big winners in this situation. Although they'd be losing out points to Red Bull, they're not losing out too badly now, with Gecko being the net race leader.
Pretty sure McLaren are also going to be out of the constructors' fight then.
That is true. Tadpole had a chance at recovery day. Hunted did too, but the penalty going to cost them. Right now, McLaren no longer in the constructors' fight. Next week, folks, by the way, is Vegas for Tier 2. We've raced there before. We didn't race there last season, but we did for F1 Tier 1, and it was one of the best RPL races, I think, ever.
Yeah, I know I regret my decision of leaving Tier 2 early, because I would have loved to race Vegas. But,
Spinner. Bulgogi, again. More yellow flags for him.
Would have loved to
But now
race
the race
Vegas,
lead.
man. Would have been brilliant.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, Cintrix is going to fall for P2, P3-ish. But Ferrari right now, if they keep where they're at and everything in this situation, more yellow flags. If they keep where they're at, Ferrari, I just want to mention this. They gain 5 points now in Red Bull, even with J&T having the gap on Hunted. That's 25 points from being back by 30. But they have to be careful here, Gecko does, when running behind Cintrix and J&T behind Hunted, because they now currently have the track position. But will we see something like we saw in Canada, where the race leader backs up the guy behind? And funny enough, that was Red Bull Ferrari, but Cintrix needs that to happen in order for a Red Bull to get victory.
I doubt it heavily.
Tomorrow's Britain. Sunday is Abu Dhabi, by the way. Go ahead, sorry.
I doubt there will be any form of fighting involved in this potential overtake from Gecko. It'll be just an absolute easy breeze for Gecko. He's got 40% DRS. That's just absolutely heinous.
And the thing is that he's now on lap 31, still behind, now alongside, pulling out,
And ahead.
taking the lead of the race once again. Gecko prevails in Portimao, where he last won an FE, trying to win once more, what would be a second win if he just holds on. J&T as well has a chance to get Hunted. Wavy's pitting to go for fastest lap. Aston Martin desperately need to take points off of other teams that they're surrounded by into the final round of the season.
Yeah, that's the one. The stinker of a season. It's been very bad. And they're getting 0 points again today. Maybe demoting Valkyrie wasn't the optimal decision, because now you're bringing the points down even more. So,
Yeah, she did good in Mercedes, but clearly doesn't do any better in Aston Martin, from what we can see. And that showed it. Yellow flags, Bulgogi again. Bulgogi is around for what is the third time in the remaining parts of the race. And now I think he got in the way there of a Red Bull. That was Cintrix. I know Bonky was right there and is in 3 seconds, but that could have cost Cintrix. I know there was ghosting on, I'm aware, but you still have to take evasive action. You get majorly distracted by a car rejoining like that. And I think Gogi's coming into the pit lane for what could be a retirement. By the way, as of this current moment, Alpine keep their day streak of scoring points alive, and J&T, it's about to be P4 again in an RPL race. If he can just find a way past Hunted on track, he would get it by more bonuses rather than just on the penalties. Red Bull, by the way, I have to give him credit here again. Kept himself out of trouble, no penalty points. They didn't have the best start of the season, but they prevailed since. They're not winning the Constructors' Championship right now, but They're one step closer, even though they're losing out on points. They're not losing out too badly. And 37 races in a row now, they would have points in a row. That's insane. Only one DNF too, Eoin. Only one DNF compared to Merck and Ferrari having 3. Merck and Ferrari having 3 and McLaren having 2. So even though they've not always had the results from the start of the season, pure consistency Red Bull have had. Not winning the Constructors like I said today, but putting themselves in a decent spot even with being outscored right now into Vegas. Final lap underway now.
What exhilarating.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at myself.
That's okay.
J&T.
Yes, he will. He's already going to get him on penalties, but now he's waiting to the last lap to go around the outside. They almost come together. J&T's around.
No!
It was already going to be 4th place, but he tried to go for it to defend from Joe Wilson, and now he's around and still not going because if he doesn't get going, this could affect him majorly for 6th place. Ardell is chasing him.
This has been an absolute strategic masterclass from Hunted. If he gets a 5-second penalty for that, he'll still beat him.
Yes, that is true. And the fastest lap is no longer in Ferrari's favor. It's in the way of Wavy. Here we go. Gecko is now approaching the final sector. We're just going to go to Kipu and JTK quickly. JTK around the outside. Kipu hanging on. And he will hang on for now. Gecko, with a strategic masterclass, is going to win a 2nd Tier 2 race. He already won here before in Formula Endurance, but now he's won here in Tier 2. Gecko wins in Portimao. RPL's return here in Tier 2. Congratulations, Gecko. A 2nd win. Joe Wilson and Hunted about to race it to the line with a drag race here. Hunted hangs on, but could be faced in the steward's office. He already lost it based on track. Red Bull get a double podium, and we'll figure out if that's enough for the Constructors.
I'll let you know as soon as possible once the live standings are updated.
Still more racing. Kipu and JTK still not done. Alpine straight line speed going to help massively. The overtake button, a lot more for JTK than Kipu. We got a drag race to the line, while Tadpole claimed 8th for McLaren. Kipu 9th, and JTK keeps up Alpine's point scoring streak in only day races. Joe Wilson 4th, good return from him. Hunted 5th, J&T, Ardell, Tadpole, Kipu, JTK are points finishers. Mintoki not the best from him. Wavy a lap down, Goggy a lap down, but Wavy at least gets the fastest lap for Aston, while Titan in his RPL return for the first time this game cycle, I believe, in Tier 2, he will finish a race.
Waste of time. Just fucking finish, you cunt!
Because of that last lap spin from J&T and what happened to him there with Hunted, Ferrari only gained 1 point on Red Bull rather than gaining, I don't know. Or yeah, actually no, because it was fastest lap from Wavy instead of J&T. They actually had this equal amount of points because of Gecko winning J&T's 6th. Or sorry, yeah, 6th or 7th, whatever it was. I think it was 6th. Red Bull 2nd and 3rd. Equal amount of points. So instead of being 25 points back for Ferrari, they're in more of a hole than they should be in. 30 points back. Mercedes, though, from that finish, I don't know if they're still eligible for the Constructors, but if they are, it's by the skin of their teeth, while McLaren have been eliminated from championship contention. But Gecko, what a performance. I'm going to say fairly driver of the day for me. Unless I give it to Joe Wilson in his return, but I just think Gecko had a much more cleaner race. That gives him the driver of the day.
I'm just going to fill the thing in here now for you. Put a few
Final
names.
results, by the way.
Going to put a few names in.
Up on our screen. Yep. Final results on our screen. Gecko, by the way, with that win, is going to help himself massively to try to second place in the Drivers' Championship. Final results on our screen. You saw penalties as well applied from drivers. Gecko takes his second Tier 2 win in RPL.
Team standings.
Seems like Ferrari seems to be a special car. Before you go over standings, by the way, quickly, I just want to mention for those of you about to tune off, we're going to end off soon, but clearly just want to state beforehand. Tier 2 next week in Vegas, F1 in Britain tomorrow, FE in Abu Dhabi Sunday. Go ahead, Eoin.
Yes, so I'll give you the drivers and the team standings provisionally, obviously, after that race. So yes. So the top three, Red Bull lead the Constructors' Championship by 30 points now. Mercedes are 31 behind Red Bull, so 1 point separates Ferrari and Mercedes. Both teams within a chance of beating Red Bull. Be very, very difficult, obviously. How many races are left, sorry?
1 for Tier 2. Got a finale next week.
Vegas, ooh. So yeah, they're just within 40-odd points they need.
Three-way fight.
Drivers' Championship, Gecko is beating Bonkers by 5 points. So that'll be a close one for the P2 trophy. Both on 2 wins, 2 podium. They've got the exact same podium stats: 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds. So basically, whoever beats the other next Friday, will win the P2 battle.
That should be tons of fun. We have Britain tomorrow, which seemed to be a very good race last season for Tier 1, with Red Bulls fighting it out for the victory. Abu Dhabi is for Formula Endurance, the penultimate round. The championship is already won, but still you have a Constructors' Championship that can be clinched then too as well. And still, I think Abu Dhabi a much more racy track for these Formula Endurance drivers that will hopefully better the attendance. Today's race, a little shaky, a little rocky. It seems like a lot of Tier 2 races this season have been like this, where it has its good moments, it has its dull moments, and it always seems to come out in the end, regardless of the victory, regardless of the result, with some sort of big story. Right now, it's second place. Right now, it's the top 3 for constructors into the final race. And today, it was Gecko not needing to spin and win, just simply winning on strategy this time in Portimao, rather than the way he did it in endurance. Any final thoughts on the race, Eoin, before we end off the stream?
I'm just glad it wasn't too disgusting, really. Gecko just showed why he's an absolute tank. Bonky using a bit of a big brain strategic masterclass, and being hunted and being a bottler. So it's a classic Tier 2 race, and that's what we love to say.
That's okay. That's okay. We had a good race. We had a decently clean race, and we got through all the glitches. So hopefully nothing happens tomorrow. Tune in 3 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UK time. An hour earlier for Tier 2's event. And
I'm winning tomorrow
as well. F1 is tomorrow. Yeah, F1 is tomorrow as well. Yeah. F1 Tier 1 is tomorrow. F1 Real Life is tomorrow. We should clarify that it's F1 and F1 Tier 1. But yeah. Either way, Ryan Searles, Eoin McMoran sign off for commentary for tonight. We'll be here for Vegas tomorrow to cover the 3-way constructors fight in Tier 2 Season 11 to end off the season. Until next time, have a good one, folks. We will see you for tomorrow, Sunday, or even next week's event. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.